Okay, I'm back. نكمل part 2 of topic 5, supply and demand. This is where we will put supply and demand together. طيب احنا دلوقتي اتكلمنا على الديماند لوحده وعلى السبلاي لوحده. From now on أي سؤال هيجيلي على supply and demand لازم أرسمهم مع بعض. تمام؟ This is very important. Okay? طيب let's start the show. Okay, here we have a question. We have the price. This is the supply and demand of flashlights, كشاف. عندي البرايس وعندي quantity demanded وعندي quantity supplied. تمام؟ عايزة أرسم الكيرف دي. اوكي؟ طيب تيجي نشوفها مع بعض تترسم ازاي. اللي هي ما رسمناهاش. طيب يلا نرسمها مع بعض. I'll take this on the side. تمام. طيب let's see. طيب I'll tell you what. Let's leave this question. Let's explain it first وبعدين نرجع له تاني. طيب هنا عندي equilibrium supply and demand of ice cream. حطيناهم مع بعض. That demand for ice cream and this is the supply of ice cream. Okay? Demand, again, we said we're thinking like consumers. Supply, I'm thinking like a firm. تمام? Now, the point where supply and demand meet, the point of intersection دي بسميها equilibrium. يبقى the point of intersection between supply and demand is referred to as equilibrium. في عندي equilibrium price ده price at equilibrium والايكوليبريم quantity ده quantity at equilibrium. يبقى تاني from now on أنا هتكلم لما بتكلم على supply and demand لازم أحطهم مع بعض. أنا أهم حاجة عندي is to show equilibrium. Equilibrium, this is the point of intersection between supply and demand. This is the most efficient point in your market. This is the most efficient price. The equilibrium price is at 2 والايكوليبريم quantity is at 7. طيب نبص شوية على الايكوليبريم quantity. الايكوليبريم quantity ده معناه ايه؟ Isn't this انه quantity supplied equals quantity demanded؟ هنا النقطة دي مش هنا supply and demand quantity بتاعتهم are equal at 7. يبقى equilibrium quantity ممكن أسميها QE. equilibrium quantity is equal to quantity supplied which is equal to quantity demanded which is equal to 7. صح كده؟ طيب يبقى تاني نعيد تاني. أهم حاجة دلوقتي لما برسم السبلاي والديماند مش هرسم كل واحد لوحده. I will graph them together on one slide, on one graph, and I have to show equilibrium. I always have to show equilibrium, equilibrium price, and equilibrium quantity because this is where the market is most efficient. These are the market clearing prices or the most efficient prices and quantity. تاني quantity equilibrium quantity. This is where quantity supplied is equal to quantity demanded is equal to 7. Okay? So again, these are the definitions. We just said them. Let's see. If I'm here, طيب خلونا نرسمها بقى يعني together without numbers. Let's just graph supply and demand together without numbers. Okay? Let's do this together. I hope that you are practicing with me because this is really, really important. This is the basics of microeconomics, supply and demand. So it's really, really, really very important. Okay, this is your y-axis right here. This is your x-axis right here. Okay, now this is demand. This is supply. Okay, so here we have, again, you need to label your diagram. لازم أعلم على كل detail في الجراف، دي أهم حاجة برضو. P for price, this is on your y-axis. Now your x-axis, you have Q, quantity. Okay, and then here we have your demand curve, that's D. Okay, and up here we have S for supply. Okay, now once you graph demand and once you graph supply, you have to show equilibrium. Where is equilibrium? This is the point of intersection, and I need to show equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Let's get it down here. And equilibrium. Okay, let's label them. This is PE, equilibrium price, and this is okay. E right here. This is equilibrium, and then we need to show equilibrium quantity. We can write it as QE, which is quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. Okay, this is your first graph. Okay, and this is where you always start. This is your first step in any question that you get from now on. You draw demand, you draw supply, you show equilibrium price, you show equilibrium quantity. Okay, I will copy this and graph another. Okay, if we have the same graph here, let's say I tell you prices have increased above equilibrium. How are you going to show this on your graph? Prices have increased above equilibrium. So show any increase in price. If this is equilibrium price, then let's say this is P1, prices have increased. You can show it wherever you want. After you get the price, graph, label, a line, we want to see quantity. So this is P1. So I will draw a line like this. It's right here. Let's shape it like this. Okay. All right. Now this point right here, this quantity here, is this on the supply curve or the demand curve? This point right here is on your demand curve. So this is quantity demanded. Let's label that. This is right here. Quantity demanded, 1. And this point right here is what? This is quantity on your supply curve. Let's show that. Okay, let's move these. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, this point right here is on your quantity supplied 1. Okay, now here we have again what happened here. We have a price increase from the equilibrium price. We showed an increase in price. Now here this is quantity demanded and this is quantity supplied. Which is bigger? Quantity supplied or quantity demanded? Quantity supplied is bigger than quantity demanded. So here we have what? We have when prices increased from P1 or equilibrium price PE to P1, what happened? You have a what? You are above or below equilibrium? We are above equilibrium. Above equilibrium. Therefore, quantity supplied 1 is larger than quantity demanded 1. طيب لما quantity supplied يبقى أكبر من quantity demanded يبقى كده السوق فيه إيه؟ في نقص ولا زيادة؟ في زيادة. So you have a what? We have, therefore, we call this surplus, زيادة. Quantity supplied أو excess, extra supply زيادة في السبلاي أو في الإنتاج. طيب احنا قلنا ان احنا الماركت بتاعنا لازم يبقى فين؟ in equilibrium. This is the most efficient price. Now I am above equilibrium. طيب what should I do to go back to equilibrium؟ فكر فيها logically. لما يبقى عندي زيادة إنتاج في السوق أو زيادة في منتج معين والناس ما بتشتريش، هعمل إيه عشان أخلي الناس تشتري وأرجع تاني للإكويليبريم برايس؟ I will decrease the price. هقلل السعر لحد ما أوصل للإكويليبريم price. We have an excess surplus. Prices will decrease okay until we reach equilibrium. تمام؟ okay. طيب is this a shift or a movement؟ هو أنا حركت الديماند curve؟ No. أنا حركت السبلاي curve؟ No. إحنا عملنا إيه؟ We increased prices من equilibrium price لل P1. Therefore, this is a movement and not a shift. Okay? يبقى if we are above equilibrium, when the price is above equilibrium, we have a surplus. ليه؟ عشان ال quantity supplied أكبر من ال quantity demanded. هعمل إيه عشان أرجع للإكوليبريم تاني؟ I will decrease price until I reach the equilibrium price. تمام؟ طيب, let's see the other case. What do you think the other case will be? If you have a shortage. طيب, لما أبقى below equilibrium. عايزة أجيب سعر أقل من equilibrium. So let's say, okay, I am here, for example. أقل من equilibrium. اختار أي سعر. هقول ده مثلا P2. Okay. Okay. هعمل إيه? What's the next step? Find the quantities. Find the quantities. So P2. Okay, now this point right here, this is quantity on which supplier demand, this is supply. So this is, okay, let's make this green, for example. All right, let's show this is quantity supplied to, and this point right here is what quantity supplied, this point right here, this is quantity, this is on your demand curve, quantity demanded to. Type هنا, which is bigger? This point right here, quantity demanded or quantity supplied? Quantity demanded is bigger than quantity supplied. Quantity demanded is larger than quantity supplied. طيب لما يبقى الديماند الناس طالبة منتج وفي نقص في السوق، يبقى ده بنسميه ايه النقص ده؟ We call this, we have a shortage أو extra demand بنسميه excess demand. لما بيبقى في نقص في السوق this is inefficient. أنا لازم أرجع لل-equilibrium price. هرجع لل-equilibrium price إزاي؟ هرجع لل-equilibrium price إزاي؟ لما بيبقى في نقص في السوق إيه اللي بيحصل في المنتج؟ سعره بيقل ولا بيزيد؟ Okay, it increases. So here what should we do to go back to equilibrium? We will, okay, so therefore increase prices until you reach equilibrium. Okay, is this clear? I hope this is clear. So here we have the definitions. Again, excess supply or surplus. This is when you are, again, above equilibrium. Shortage, you are below equilibrium. Equilibrium price. Above equilibrium price. Okay? So if you look here, we have it with numbers. Again, these are the supply and demand for ice cream. Here's the demand, supply, equilibrium. Okay, if I ask you, where is the equilibrium price and where is equilibrium quantity? How will you answer? The equilibrium price is 2, the equilibrium quantity is 7. Okay, let's assume prices have increased to 2.5. So now here, this point right here, this is on your demand and it's equal to what? 4. This point right here is on your supply and it's equal to 10. Which is larger? Quantity supplied is 10, quantity demanded is 4. يبقى أنا عندي زيادة excess supply. عندي 10 ice creams وبس 4 اللي عايزين. Okay, يبقى what should I do to go back to equilibrium? هقلل السعر from 2.5 to 2 to go back to equilibrium. Okay, now here you have excess demand. This is when you are below equilibrium price. هنا equilibrium price is 2. Now it's 1.5. So here, which is larger, quantity demanded or quantity supplied? Here quantity demanded is 10, quantity supplied is 4. So quantity demanded is bigger than quantity supplied. هنا عندي نقص في السوق. الديماند اكبر من السبلاي، لما يبقى في نقص في السوق او shortage او excess demand, what should happen to go back to equilibrium? We increase the price until we reach equilibrium. Okay, this is the first thing. Again, these are shifts or movements. These are movements. We increased the price above equilibrium or we decreased the price below equilibrium. Okay, now again احنا قلنا ايه, from now on we need to put supply and demand together in one curve and we need to show equilibrium. يبقى ده أول step بعمله عشان when I'm analyzing the market. أول step هعمله is what? Graph demand, graph supply, show equilibrium. ده أول step. تاني step هعمل إيه؟ أسأل نفسي هو ده shift في الديماند ولا shift في السبلاي ولا shift في الاتنين؟ عشان كده لازم أبقى عارف in the back of my head what factors shift demand and what factors shift supply. احنا we know the factors that shift demand are what? Income, whether your good is a normal or an inferior good, number of buyers, prices of related goods, whether you have substitutes or complementary goods, and tastes, fashions, and so on. Supply قلنا ايه? الانبوت prices, technology, expectations, and number of sellers. تمام؟ طيب the new equilibrium هشوف بقى بعديها. بعد ما بعمل الشيفت I need to show ايه بقى اهم حاجة تاني؟ النيو equilibrium, النيو equilibrium price والنيو equilibrium quantity. يبقى هنا السلايد دي مهمة جدا. دي الستبس. These are the steps that you have to take when you are analyzing supply and demand. Let's consider the market for ice cream again. Okay. طيب. It says what? It's a very hot day. What will happen to the market for ice cream? Okay. طيب. ايه اول step هعملها؟ هرسم السبلاي والديماند and I will show equilibrium. اهو ده اول step. تمام؟ بعدين I need to ask myself هو التغيير ده will it shift demand or will it shift supply or will it shift both? هنا ايه؟ It's a hot day. يبقى ده ايه؟ supply ولا demand؟ ارجع بقى للfactors that shift demand. ده مش income. ده مش substitute ولا complementary goods. ده مش number of buyers بس ده seasonal change. It's a hot day. يبقى ده ايه؟ when it's hot the demand for ice cream هيزيد ولا هيقل؟ هيزيد. again الديماند انا هفكر زي مين؟ زي الباير او consumer. السبلاي انا هفكر زي مين؟ زي الفيرم او البرودوسر. لازم افصل بينهم عشان ما اتلخبطش. اوكي؟ يبقى هنا this is a change in demand not supply. يبقى again اول step زي ما شايفين هنبين الايكوليبريم الاولاني. اوكي؟ بعدين هعمل ايه؟ الشيفت في الديماند. تعالوا هرسمها معاكم step by step. Let's do it. طيب خلينا نعمل we already had that. طيب this is step one. This is let's say the market for ice cream. And this is a very hot day. صح؟ Alright. بيقول لي ايه؟ case one it's a very hot day. What will happen؟ احنا قلنا ان ده shift في الديماند مش في السبلاي. بس step 1 هرسم الديماند وهرسم السبلاي وهبين الايكوليبريم. step 2 هسأل نفسي ده شيفت في الديماند ولا شيفت في السبلاي ولا الاثنين؟ انا عرفت ان هو شيفت في الديماند مش في السبلاي. اوكي؟ طيب هرسم I'll show بقى the shift in demand. It's a right shift because it's an increase in demand. يبقى shift your demand to the right label your demand. This is going to be what? D1, the new demand curve, or D star, or D whatever you want to call it. I cannot stop here. كده my answer is not complete. I need to show the arrow. هو it shifted to the right or to the left? It shifted to the right. يبقى أعمل الارrow يبين لي الشيفت. Number 2 أو آخر step لازم أبين ال new equilibrium, the new point of intersection. فين بيتقابلوا supply و demand؟ في ال new shift right here. يبقى هنا لازم أقول okay right here. خليني okay it's here. Okay, right here. So this is the new equilibrium price right here. And this is the new equilibrium, U1. And this is the new this is Q1, the new equilibrium price. This is a complete answer. This is how you answer questions like this. It's very simple. Very simple. أهي نفس الإجابة is right here. Okay? طيب, the next question says what? Case 2. It says what? You have a hurricane, إعصار, that destroys a big part of the sugar cane crop. الإعصار ده عمل إيه؟ دمر القصب. طيب, what is your first step? How? Forget about this now. Leave this. This is the answer, yes, but let's do it on our own. Okay, let's just delete this for now. Let's do it on our own. What will you do? We will graph. Okay, let's see. Paste again. This is your first step. Okay, which is what? To graph supply and demand and show equilibrium. This is, again, your first step. Okay. Second step. Okay, let's see. Let's call this. Again, you have to write down. Okay. All right. Again, label your diagram. This is P, price. This is equilibrium. This is equilibrium quantity. And this is equilibrium price, price E. Okay? That's your first step. Okay, it says what? We're still talking about the ice cream market. طيب, الإعصار ده دمر القصب. What's your next step? Is this a change in demand or a change in supply or a change in both? نبص على demand. ايه ال factors that shift demand? Income, ده مش income. Number of buyers, ده مش number of buyers. Substitutes and complementary goods? No, ده برضو مش كده. Tastes and expectations? No. طيب, أروح للديماند. يبقى كده الديماند عندي مش هيتغير. طيب, أروح للسبلاي. أشوف ده technology no طيب ده number of sellers لا ده expectations لا طب ارجع بقى للinput prices سعر الانبوتس ايوه ده من الانبوتس مش القصب ده it has sugar الشوجر ده مش بستخدمه في انتاج الايس كريم طيب الاعصار دمر الشوجر كين crops which means ان سعر السكر probably هيزيد جدا يبقى ده حاجة كويسة ولا وحشة for you as a firm supply احنا بنفكر زي ايه زي الفيرم كده سعر التكلفة هيزيد يبقى انا كده هقلل انتاج الايس كريم ولا هزوده هقلله يبقى supply will shift where to the left so let's graph this your supply will shift to the left just like this okay this is let's call it S1 supply 1 S why did it do that insert the box right here no I don't want it here S1 okay and right here we have E1 okay now what do you need to do I don't stop here I need to show my arrow that the shift has happened it was a leftward shift so show your arrow you also need to show the new equilibrium price where is it yes right here and this is your new equilibrium quantity right here okay I need to label these so this is PE1 and this is Q2 what happened to your price your prices have increased and here your quantity has decreased you have to show this as well this is a complete answer okay and it's right here again for you okay this is case 2 type case 3 suppose you have both an increase in sugar cane and a heat wave both بقى هنا عندي two things an increase in the sugar cane and a heat wave how will you answer this okay what's the first step you need to ask yourself again is this a change in demand or a change in supply or a change in both okay let's do this we'll do it together delete this and this okay let's see first step again graph demand graph supply and show equilibrium Now, in this case, what do we have in the market for ice cream? We are in summer time, and we have a hurricane that destroyed the sugarcane. Okay, so how will we graph this? How will we show this? All right, again, this is your first step. We graphed demand, we graphed supply, and we showed equilibrium. Now, your next step is to ask yourself, are these shifts in demand or supply or both? طيب ناخدها واحدة واحدة. It's summer time. احنا لسه عاملينها. Summer time ده عمل ايه؟ It's a shift in demand. It increases the demand for ice cream to the right. So let's graph this first. Right here. All right. And this is demand 1. Okay, and then you have what? A hurricane that destroyed the sugarcane. احنا برضو لسه عاملين دي في case 2 ان الهurricane ده علّى سعر السكر اللي هو input في انتاج الايس كريم، يبقى ده علّى سعر التكلفة. This is an input price. Input prices are a change in demand or change in supply. They're a change in supply, and therefore your supply will shift to the left. So let's show the shift in supply. يبقى كده عندي هنا in this case 2 shifts. Supply will shift to the left. All right, this is D1, this is S1. This is the new supply. Type. I do not stop right here. أولا, I need to show the arrows as demand shifted where, with supply shifted where. يبقى the demand shifts to the right, and your supply has shifted to the left. فين بقى النيو equilibrium في كل ده؟ أنا لسه لازم أبين the new equilibrium. It's the new point of intersection between demand and supply. Is it this one? No, it's actually right here. This is your new equilibrium right here. Okay. Oops, let me fix this. Okay. This is Q1. So right here we want to do Q2. Insert text box Q2. Let's see, Q2. Okay. And this is P1. All right. This is your answer. You have it right here. Yani, I think this is very confusing to you. You can just use this instead. Okay. I hope this is clear now. Let's save this. Okay. Type. These next 2 slides, 65 and 66, I want you to try to do them on your own. Okay. Try to do them on your own. Slide 65 and slide 66, and I will discuss them with you very shortly, okay? But I want you to try to answer these questions on your own, okay? Have a good day, stay safe, please stay at home. I will be in touch with you very soon. Have a nice day. Thank you.